I think it's no secret to anyone on this planet that's been alive for even the last 10 years to know that Halo is a legendary franchise and a massive billion-dollar franchise also on top of that. That I sadly did not get to experience until 2020. And there's a reason why, and it's because I did not have an Xbox. I was PS3 through and through just because I didn't have to pay for Xbox Live, so it was a little bit cheaper to go and play on the PS3. So I never got a chance to really play Halo. I did know that Halo 1 and I think 2, or it was a terrible port for 2, but I knew that Halo 1 was on PC, but there was no easy way to get it. So I kind of just didn't bother getting Halo 1 at least on PC. And then, like I said, Halo 2, you couldn't even find a copy, and that was the Vista version, which I eventually found out even more recently that was a terrible port. So, yeah, Halo just was not on PC for the longest time. And, I mean, there were rumors that kept circulating for years that I heard about Halo coming to PC, but I said, you know what? If it comes to PC, I'll play it. But I don't want to go and spend hundreds of dollars for an Xbox for an experience to just play, one game or one franchise. Then lo and behold, the Master Chief Collection was announced, and they started releasing these games in canonical order. Which means my first Halo game was Reach, the last Bungie Halo game. I know that sounds a little weird, but that's how they did it, and they had to optimize and create these games individually. And I guess that's where we're going to start it with this Reach. Because I started playing Reach, or rather, I got the game around before March 2020, and I played through Reach and beat it. And I had a lot of fun playing it. I honestly think Reach is one of my favorite Halo games, right next to another game I'll mention soon. And Reach just was great through and through. I mean, I love the last mission. I love the final mission. It is so great to play. And it honestly gives me kind of Battlefield 1 vibes. Like, I feel like they took this mission, the devs at DICE, for Battlefield 1, they took that last man standing mission and put it as the first mission in the Battlefield 1 campaign. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go play Battlefield 1's campaign. In my opinion, it's the best Battlefield campaign we got. And I love that first mission because it captured World War I perfectly. And it's nice to see that version of that mission here. And it's, I don't know, it was just cool. I got chills by the time I finished it. I was like, wow, that's just crazy. That's great. And then segueing right into Combat Evolved, the first Halo game, which I have a hot take here, and I know I'm probably going to get burned at the stake for this, but Combat Evolved is my least favorite Halo game, at least in this collection. And that's just because I did not have a good experience with this, because when Halo 1 came out, it was kind of a mess on PC, and I was running into some weird performance spikes, issues, crashes, and I swear graphical issues that were screwing me up on where to go. And I kept getting lost, up to the library section, and it just started pissing me off. I finally just had enough of it, and I was like, fine, you know what, I'm just going to wait for them to fix it, and I'll try again. And so I tried again according to my achievement history, September of 2021, but there were still weird bugs and crashing. So I ultimately just set aside Halo for there and just moved on. Then, once I think Halo 4 had come out, and everything was done and updated more or less, I decided to give it another shot. And in August of 2022, per my achievements, I went through Combat Evolved again, played through it, and beat it this time. And I had a lot of help with some people I found that, were actually, good folk, and they actually are really big Halo fans. And when they found out I hadn't played Halo, they wanted to jump on the bandwagon of showing Halo and playing it with me. So I do believe we did play Reach and then Combat Evolved. We did basically an entire marathon of the Halo games in the span of a couple months. And I am still part of their Discord, and I feel like I should reconnect with them after a while. But, because after that, we did play some other modes afterwards, but then eventually I kind of moved on to other games. But still, I just want to thank them for, playing through with me, because it was a lot of fun, and they had a lot of fun seeing me play Halo for the first time. And ultimately, I beat Combat Evolved. And I still, even getting this footage, I kind of still was just like, I really don't like Combat Evolved. I don't know what it is. The grenade spam was outrageous to the point where I was like, am I playing World at War on Veteran right now? It's just, I mean, they do give you a lot of grenades, to be fair, but it's still, it was really annoying, to say the least. I was just really annoyed by certain things in Combat Evolved. I still will admit I do love the Flood reveal, because I literally remember saying, there's zombies in this game? And I never knew this. Like, I never knew of the Flood's existence. This is what I think is such a interesting thing, is that I never knew the Flood existed. So when I saw that mission building up to the Flood reveal, I was like, no one told me there were zombies in Halo. Why hadn't anyone told me this? I would have jumped on this much sooner if I had known. But, you know, here we are, finally, after all this time. But regardless, I still beat Combat Evolved. I enjoyed it despite my shortcomings and issues playing it. I am looking forward to the Halo 3 Combat Evolved remaster, which is titled Halo 3 Combat Evolved, which is made by a group of people. It's still in development, but a good chunk of it is playable, which I think is really cool because, as you've probably seen in the footage, I've been using the anniversary graphics because, for those of you who don't know, on the Master Chief Collection, you can switch and alternate, at least for Halo 1 and 2, the old and new graphics. And I hate to say it again, I'm not a fan of the Combat Evolved art style, the original. I don't know, it just feels... I know, it's a product of the time, probably shouldn't be giving it that much shit, but I stuck with the anniversary graphics, even though a lot of people have criticized these graphics because they're basically just Reach's assets being used, which, I mean, it's fair. When you see the differences, despite the age of the graphics of Halo 1, you do see that some of the art style was lost, so naturally Halo 3 Combat Evolved could help replicate and keep that original art style and feel. But anyway, that's just my experience with Halo 1. I still think it was a great campaign to play through story-wise, and, you know, I'm glad I did get to play it with friends. And as I play or talk more about these Halo games, it's basically going to be with friends, because they wanted to, like I said, play through this with me and experience, you know, see my experience in playing Halo. Which leads into Halo 2, which, wow, not only was this much better than Halo 1, but I really, really loved the graphics, the cutscenes, and my favorite moment that I still look up to, you know, on YouTube from time to time is the part where, you know, Master Chief is like, you know, to give back the Covenant their bomb, and it's just the whole music and setup to everything. I'm just like, wow. I even remember watching this at the time, because they literally shut up. They were like, all right, we're gonna shut up, you just watch. And I was like, I literally did like a little applaud. I was like, wow, that was a nice build-up to the invasion on Earth. So I had a lot more fun with Halo 2. And then I did learn a bit more about the cut content that Halo 2 was supposed to have, because there were deadlines, things mixed and mashed up with Bungie, which, you know, it's a shame that we didn't get to see this cut content until recently on the workshop, where there is a mod that you can subscribe to and download called Halo 2 Uncut, which basically just brings back a lot of the cut stuff. And, you know, there is also an E3 demo that you can play that people have put in. It's really cool. I definitely want to play through it again one day, but I thought it was really cool that they had all this beta style stuff, that it's just a nice little slice of life kind of thing. Like, you get to experience some of the stuff that Bungie was throwing around at the time, and it's like I said, it's just a cool slice of life that I really enjoyed playing through a little bit. But I definitely want to do another playthrough of that as well. But ultimately, Halo 2 definitely ended really nicely in building into Halo 3, but like I said, I had a lot of fun playing Halo 2. It was difficult towards the end a little bit, and I vaguely remember the guys I was playing with telling me that, you know, they recommended doing a little bit of a skip here and there, just because it might get a little frustrating, especially on the legendary difficulties. Because one of the guys there that I played with, he was a somewhat regular speedrunner, and I remember him having to fight the urge to speedrun through Halo 2, because we all kind of said, only if we're getting frustrated, don't do any speedrun glitch tactics. But you could tell, like, it's not anything on him, but he was a little frustrated because he was like, oh, I really want to skip this part because he speedruns the game regularly. I know it's a weird crew. You know, you got one other guy who's a regular Halo enjoyer, then you got a speedrunner that's wanting to speedrun the game, and then you got me. It's just one trying to experience Halo for the first time. So, but anyway, Halo 2, great all-around, great follow-up, and I loved how they brought in the Arbiter, voiced by the legendary Keith David, as I may like to add, who does a great job, and I really like that we got to see that side of the Covenant, as well as even get to playing as him. Even the co-op, you get to kind of mix and match between the two and all that, especially in Halo 3. But for Halo 2, it was still really cool to see and kind of experience. Which, cutting into Halo 3, man, Halo 3, what an absolute peak top-tier ending to the Bungie era Halo games and their story. Like, I really liked Halo 3. I like the setting, I like the build-up. I do wish that we gotten a Halo 3 anniversary version, but it is what it is. And I swear, the ending of Halo 3, the Warthog run, I adore that final mission. I still listen to the music to this day, because it goes hard. I literally kept saying that. I wish I had footage of this. But as we were, driving out of the Halo ring, and, everything was self-destructing and exploding, I literally was saying, why is this music going so hard? I loved it. And they were laughing because they were like, enjoying my amusement and fun of screaming about how great the music is. Marty O'Donnell did a fantastic job with the music in these games through and through, and even in the Destiny games too. But it's like, man, I just remember enjoying so much of that campaign, especially the part where, Truth is going on about, I am Truth, the voice of the Covenant, and then Arbiter literally behind me says, so you must be silenced, and then stabs him with the energy sword. I love that. That was such a cool moment. I was like, oh, like I said, I could keep gushing on and on about Halo 3, but I don't think there's really much that needs to be said, especially if you've played it before. But man, did I have a great time with Halo 3. Halo 3, in my eyes, is my favorite out of all the Halo games, just because of how it ends and concludes everything and how enjoyable the story was. And ODST was nice as well, nice to play. It was nice to play as, a grunt soldier. Nice to get in their boots and see that, from their perspective. And I do like how it was a kind of detective mystery sort of thing. And I will say, though, my favorite memory from that is, so in my YouTube feed, I found a certain clip that I watched, and I eventually found out it was ODST, because I was wondering where this comes up in the Halo campaign. And I remember showing it to them, the people I was still playing with, and they said, oh, it comes eventually. We know where it is. Obviously, it's not the actual one-to-one clip, but I'll just let it play, and you can hear it for yourself.
Take my advice, rookie. You ever fall for a woman? Make sure she's got balls.
That's a little gay.
Hold on.
Yeah, I know it's strange, but I just wanted to draw attention to it. I just thought it was a real funny clip. Because, I don't know. I'm weird. I'm a simple man. Simple things in life crack me up, and this is one of them. So, anyway, I did see that part eventually, and it was still, it was funny, because I was like, if only the rookie would actually say that. But, because, that'd probably be the best time for him to talk the entire time. Because, it's a little bit of a suspicious line there, Buck. But, anyway, overall, I think the Bungie era of Halo was great to experience, and I really can see why these games had such a strong appeal for many people. And, now segueing into Halo 4, which I don't think is that bad. Now, to be fair, I don't think it held a candle to the original Bungie era, but I still think it's a decent game, and, I enjoy it for what it was. But I do think that Halo 4 Reflow, if you haven't heard of this workshop mod, I definitely think it's worth a playthrough of Halo 4, because this mod aims to fix Halo 4's campaign, even down to just basic ammo economy restructuring, to improved color, lighting, and more vibrant environments, to changing the weapons to be more similar to Bungie era's weapons, like using the Halo 2 anniversary models, even down to removing dialogue and adding unused dialogue. And even one of the funniest ones is if you remember that scene where Palmer looks at Chief and says, I thought you'd be taller. Instead, not only does she wear a helmet throughout the entire campaign for the most part, but there's no dialogue at all. It's just like they acknowledge each other and that's it. I just thought that was kind of funny that, there's some of those dialogue changes to kind of make Halo 4 a little bit better in certain ways, and making the newer weapons more viable as well. Like, it's just a good all-around quality of life package, and look it up if you ever have the time that you want to see. But I did play through Halo 4, in the Reflow mod a bit, after playing Halo 4 once, and I enjoyed the mod for what it was. I really did. And I think it's probably the best way to give Halo 4 a shot if you weren't really much of a fan of it. But overall, at least the regular Halo 4 experience, I did still enjoy it. And, it's not as good as, like I said, Bungie's era's Halo, but I still think it's a viable sort of conclusion to this, Master Chief Collection package. Because sadly, we did not get Halo 5 for the Master Chief Collection, because it's still on Xbox, which for some, and I'd say most people, it's not really a loss, because the story of Halo 5 wasn't that good. The multiplayer I heard was pretty, nice and cool. And then Infinite, which I've gone back and forth if I want to play Infinite's campaign, but how much negative stuff I've heard come out from Infinite, it's kind of just turned me off from even giving that campaign a shot, because it just sounds like it just doesn't feel like it's Halo, and it kind of just, it's like there. Like I said, maybe one day I'll play Infinite's campaign if I really feel the urge to. But overall, when it comes to the campaign, that's sort of my experience with Halo's campaign, and really just Halo in general. I did play Firefight, which is a really nice, fun survival mode in Halo 3 and Reach. Multiplayer, I did not really play. I don't think I'm ever going to, just because not only am I a little late to the curve, but also it doesn't seem like it really would appeal to me as much. I've played it a bit, but I wouldn't really say I have played enough to give it like an honest opinion. So it just doesn't speak to me. And if it speaks to you, hey, no harm, no foul there. And I've got nothing bad to say at all about that whatsoever. There's clearly a reason why people like the Halo multiplayer. And, we still got a couple of those Xbox Rage lobbies from back in the day that I did look up, which I thought were pretty interesting. But overall, Halo is, without a doubt, one of the most influential video game franchises ever created. It's on the same par as Call of Duty, because at one point these two franchises were competing with each other, and you could see why. Like, both of them created the Xbox era. As much as I'm a PS3 fan, yeah, the PS3, its real gems were gems and very good games, and it clearly still stood on its own, but it was nothing compared to Halo or Call of Duty and how it dominated on the Xbox. And I can see it through and through, and I'm really glad I got to experience Halo finally. Even if I was as late as I was, I still understand and why so many people think Master Chief is one of the most iconic characters ever created, and I agree that he is. I mean, it's just, the whole franchise, you could just feel the passion that Bungie had put into this franchise and the mark that they had left on the industry. And, now Bungie is no longer the same Bungie, and at this point, most of the top heads of Bungie that made the Halo games and even Destiny 1 are gone now because of all the layoffs. But Halo is going to stand the test of time for years to come. I don't care about their reboot that, Halo Studios, aka still 343, the studio that has basically caused the problems of Halo, are still around. Like, come on, Microsoft, you think we're stupid that you could just rebrand them to be Halo Studios when we know it's still the same 343? Like, come on. But at the end of the day, I'm glad that we have the Master Chief Collection. And I'm very much glad that we have Workshop for this, too. I think Halo, this Master Chief Collection, rather, will stand the test of time and continue to be the case for years to come. And I'm very glad and fortunate that I got to experience and play, this game, this franchise, even all these years later. So I think that's all I have to really say. I will see you Tuesday with another video. Y'all take care and have a good rest of your weekend, and thanks for watching.